Okay, JL. In Texas, ranchers and farmers on the border see violence from drug cartels so consistently that they post videos on a website called protectyourtexasborder.com, run by the Texan Department of Agriculture. The problem of drugs and violence in Mexico is well documented in a book by journalist Ioan, spelled Ioan, Grillo, named El Narco, Inside Mexico's Criminal Insurgency. A January 2012 CNN report citing Grillo's book summarizes the problem thus: wars occur because people cannot feed their families. They happen because groups of people feel unimportant, disenfranchised, angry, and broke. It only takes a few people with particularly hollow morals capable of shutting off or suppressing guilt to convince many that killing and dying in spectacular ways is tantamount to glory. Texans beg federal agencies to have a stronger impact on the problem of border violence and drug trafficking. 48,000 people have been killed in the last 5 years as a result of drug activity in and near Mexico, a formidable form of terrorism. What will you do about our border with Mexico where drug cartels are involved?
I'm not familiar with the book, but it sounds like it might be worth the read. As far as the borders and drug cartels, that's kind of a broad question. Of course, we need to stop all vehicle traffic across the border, and that would include, fences. Not a fence so much as a roadblock. Impassable barriers. We would have to legalize, if we're going to get into the drug cartels, we need to legalize and decriminalize marijuana because that's 75% of the drug cartel's money. And then we need to make a plan with the Mexican government and invade and just totally destroy, devastate the cartels and take them completely out of business. And that is really what needs to be done to secure the border from the drug cartels. We need to wipe them out.
Okay. Don, would you address this? You have a minute.
Yes. It turns out that invaders have rights. In Arizona, where invaders come across and they destroy citizens' property, that citizen may not shoot the invader, the illegal alien. The invaders can come in and do whatever they want and get away with it. They have rights. The citizens do not have any rights.
And what would you do about it?
Well, in the first place, it appears as though our government, has managed to send all these guns to Mexico. They're not trying to stop the drug trade. I'm so involved in this. The CIA has been accused of importing drugs. In fact, there's a book called Compromise. And this tells all about how the CIA was bringing in tons of drugs into an airport about 35 miles north of Mena, Arkansas. And they're explaining that all the money that's involved in the drug trade, if we stopped all the drug trade, we would have a lot of financial problems in America. That the financing, all the money in the drug trade in the banks is floating America's financial problems right now.
Wow. Okay, Harry, you have a minute.
The most toxic drug that's in widespread use in the United States is alcohol, and it's perfectly illegal. We tried to ban alcohol, and we all remember what happened with Prohibition. What is it about us now that we have wasted $1 trillion on a stupid series of drug laws that take otherwise normal citizens and put them in prison because of some particular drug that they want to use? I would make it all legal. I don't see how governments should take a health problem, assuming it is a health problem, because I assure you, the medical marijuana scientists who look at that say it's a gold mine of medical research and drugs that are safe for people, and yet they can't do that research because it's been made illegal. It's crazy. It's part of how just insane our government is that we continue down this path, And the only way you're going to stop those drug cartels, which are now billionaires, is to make it all legal.
Okay.
It's the biggest, marijuana is
Okay.
the biggest cash crop in California.
All
It's more than all the food crops combined, and it's illegal.
Okay, JL, you have 30 seconds.
No, I can say I agree with Harry. I wouldn't decriminalize, the hardcore drugs simply because of the insurance factor, the healthcare factor.
It's a hardcore drug, John.
Well, I don't like alcohol either, but
I was going to say.
Yeah, I'm talking
Nothing gets any worse than alcohol.
Black heroin, that type of stuff.
Heroin's not as bad as alcohol. Talk to any doctor. He knows the subject.
Okay.
Yeah.
JL.
I would still keep them blocked.
Okay. We're talking about border violence. We're talking about the ranchers and farmers on the border who can't protect their own land. Okay, somehow we got into legalizing drugs, but I have other questions about that. So,
Okay.
JL, what I'm saying is, how do we deal with violence? We're talking about not just drugs, but we're talking about weapons.
Border violence. Well, it usually stems from the drug trade. I've never heard of someone running across the border that wants to, find a job doing whatever he or she wants to do and just shooting people. Of course, they do make the run and grab of miscellaneous items to run back across the border with, but that's so minimal. That's not a violent type of crime.
Okay.
And we're talking about children.
All right. Don, do you have any more to discuss about this border issue?
No, I don't use drugs. I don't use alcohol.
We're not worried about you.
I see what the prohibition brought about. Our government didn't give in to the people; they gave in to the criminals that were doing the importing during prohibition. If it were up to me, I would ban all alcohol because I see the effects that it has had for the last 400 years in America. And my early experiences, about 1650, one of my ancestors, she was fined because she was charging too much for alcohol that she was serving in her like a hotel. And she proved that she used more hops when she made her beer than the average person, so they allowed her to do that.
Well,
there was already a tax on alcohol way back in 1640.
Well, we're getting way, way off topic now. We were talking about Texan ranchers and how they should protect their land. But it sounds to me like, you bring up this issue of drug legalization, and so I'm going to segue right into that anyway.